going on, everybody? It's your boy King Kaif back in your life with another NBA basketball breakdown and prediction videos. As always, let's get right on into our breakdown. And sorry, I sound a little hoarse. I got into Sunday night's game a little bit, just a little bit, but we'll get into that when we get into Sunday. Right now, we start off with Saturday, starting off with the Boston Celtics defeating the Philadelphia 76ers in Philly, 110-107 by Jason Tatum's 18 points, 13 rebounds, 6 assists, and 3 3-point makes, and a game winner. Embiid could have possibly also had a game-tying shot, but it was late. Great game. I feel like all these games have been absolutely phenomenal since All-Star break. Like, after All-Star break, they've just been incredible. I'm loving the competitiveness. I'm loving the defense actually being played. It's all great, man. We'll move on. In our next game, we have the Toronto Raptors defeating the Detroit Pistons 95-91 by Pascal Siakam's 29 points, 8 rebounds, 5 assists, 3 steals, and 2 blocks. Great win from them. They need it. One more win and they're above 500. Will they get there? But to find out. In our next game, we have the Memphis Grizzlies defeating the Denver Nuggets 112-94 behind John Morant's 23 points, 7 rebounds, 4 assists. Tonight he was all about that smoke, I guess. On Saturday he was all about it. In our next game, we have Lauri Markkanen and the Utah Jazz defeating the San Antonio Spurs 118-102 behind Lauri Markkanen's 27 points, 4 rebounds, and 3 3-point makes. Great one from them. They are now just straight deadlocked at 500. See if they can get above it. For my team's sake, I hope they don't. In our next game, we have the New York Knicks defeating the New Orleans Pelicans 128-106 by Julius Randle's 28 points, 7 rebounds, 5 assists, and 5 3-point makes. Julius Randle has been playing out of his mind. The Knicks need this, and if the Knicks see this in the playoffs, they can go possibly, big word, possibly, further than in the first round. We'll see. In our next game, we have Miles Turner and the Indiana Pacers, that is, defeating the Orlando Magic 121-108 behind Miles Turner's 24 points and 8 rebounds. Great win from them. I'm happy for him that he stayed in Indiana and that he's actually happy being there now. And he's putting up productive numbers. Him and Tyrese is going to be a good duo for years to come if he decides to stay there. In the next game, we have the Charlotte Hornets shocking the Miami Heat, defeating them 108-103 behind Mark Williams, 18 points, a career high for him, and career high 20 rebounds. Him and LaMelo could be a good duo. Like I said, they could be a good duo for the future if they both stay there, just like I said with Miles Turner and Tyrese Halliburton. A big man and a point guard that know what to do, and they're really good in their roles. That's a good startup for the future if they both decide to stay there for both teams. Now we move on to Sunday's action, starting off with Damian Lillard having a 71-point game, the second one this season. It's crazy. Him and Donovan Mitchell. Shout outs to Dame. He did it. Congrats to the man. He could have dropped more. I guarantee he could have dropped more. If he really wanted to go out there and just play all the minutes, man, he would have put up close to I think he could go for 90, honestly. If he, let's say he played every single minute that he could in an NBA game, he could go for 90, especially in this game. He had 41 and a half. Just crazy. I love the tweet from Donovan Mitchell. My mom just messaged me. Damian Lillard got 71, now I gotta go and get 72. I found that hilarious. But great one from them and the boys. We'll see them tomorrow. We got something for them. I wouldn't say that. I hope they win. The way Damian Lillard's been on fire, it'll be a great game. But in our next one, we have the Denver Nuggets and the LA Clippers going to overtime. Denver Nuggets winning 134-124 for the LA Clippers. Nikola Jokic having 40 points, 17 rebounds, and 10 assists, and 3 steals. MVP. That's all you gotta say for this guy. My personal MVP, obviously, is my boy Steph Curry. Get healthy soon, my boy. But, he's not MVP. Clearly, it's Nikola Jokic, and it's not even close. Anybody that's saying Joel Embiid, stop it. Tell him he's putting up more points. Look what Jokic just did in overtime. When Jokic wants to score, which he barely does because he knows he doesn't have to. When he wants to score 40 or 50, he could do it any night he wants, any night he pleases. But this was a great game. It came down to the wire, and I didn't know what Bones Highland did. I didn't know that he had left the floor on a Denver game because it wasn't getting put in, and he just went to the locker room and got ready before the game was over. Because they were booing the absolute you-know-what out of him. That poor man. I mean, not really poor for what he did to Denver, but, I don't know, it was that crazy. But Denver gets the win, and a good one at that. In our next game, we have the Milwaukee Bucks defeating the Phoenix Suns 104-101 behind Jrue Holiday's 33 points, 4 rebounds, 5 assists, and 4 three-point makes. Great win from them, great win from Jrue and them boys. Drew's really stepped up in the place of Giannis. Giannis should be back soon. For him, it was just a simple leg injury, simple like calf strain or something like that, so he should be back, he should be good to go, but Jrue Holiday locking down that fort from now on. And we should see Kevin Durant this Wednesday, is what I'm hearing, for when they continue the road trip to Charlotte. So that'll be good to see him. And number 35, Kevin Durant, is a different Kevin Durant. He is going to be going even more crazy, I feel like, back in his old number. But I move on. In our next game, we have the LA Lakers coming back from, what was it? Jeez. Like, astronomical numbers, we'll just put it that way. Didn't think they were going to come back. They came back in Dallas to defeat the Dallas Mavericks 111-108 behind Anthony Davis' 30 points, 15 rebounds, 4 assists, and 3 blocks. Great win from them. When Anthony Davis chooses to, as everybody always says, and I'm with them, chooses to play basketball and chooses, you know what, I'm a big man, I'm going to go out and do this. He can be one of the best players in basketball, and he did that last night. In our next game, we have Donovan Mitchell and the Cleveland Cavaliers defeating the Toronto Raptors 118-93. Great win from Donovan Mitchell, 35 points, 6 rebounds, 4 assists, 3 steals, 8 three-point makes, but now he's got to go out and score 72 somehow. Him and Daniel Lillard got to figure this out. One of them's got to score more than the other. But the season's been crazy. I'm loving the season. I'm loving the competitiveness of this back end of the second half of the season. It's been great games all around. In our next game, we have the Sacramento Kings defeating the OKC Thunder 124-113 by De'Aaron Fox, 33 points, 8 assists. They got to give these guys more TV televised games, man. Put them on the marquee. They deserve it. And my old coach there, you know, holding it down. Should be coach of the year. We miss you. We miss you, Mark. We miss you. But I digress. In our next game, in the game why my voice is so hoarse right now, we have the Golden State Warriors defeating the Minnesota Timberwolves 109-104 by Klay Thompson's 33 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists, and 6 three-point makes. Who's washed? Who? Who's washed? Who is? I forget who's washed and who's not washed. Someone said Klay Thompson washed? I don't think so. Do you ever see what he does and put up? He's putting up career high numbers. Old Klay? You want old Klay back? I want new Klay. New Klay's better than old Klay. That's what I'm going to say. Great one from our guys. Comeback win. We held Anthony Edwards. That Edwards going to use that, you know, box now. That boxing one or whatever I think it is. They're going to use that a lot on Anthony Edwards now, and he's got to figure out a way to overcome it, and he will. But I'm glad we got to hold down Anthony Edwards. Naz Reid had a big first quarter. I was like, oh no, it's going to be one of those games where it's just going to be a blowout from the start. Shout out to Naz Reid. Wouldn't mind having that big man on my team. He could start on my team any day of the week. That is, of course, if we didn't have Kevon Looney. We love Kevon Looney. We call him Elijah One for a reason. In our next game, we have the Atlanta Hawks defeating the Brooklyn Nets 129-127 by Trae Young, 34 points, 8 assists. And the game winner, game little floater, you know, that's what he does. Good one from them. They move on. They're one game above 500. See what they can do. Got Quinn Snyder now for 5 years. We'll see where that goes. We'll see if Trae Young likes him over his last head coach. And in our last and final game, we have the Bulls defeating the Washington Wizards 102-82 behind DeMar DeRozan's 29 points and 6 assists. Doesn't do much for either team. They have like almost mirroring records. It's so funny. The Wizards just lost, and yet they still have one less loss than the Bulls. So didn't really do anything for either team. But I digress, and we get right on into Monday night games. Starting over here with the Magic taking on the Pelicans. I'm going to take the Pelicans. I'm going to say they get a bounce back here. But as I always say about the Magic, they play up to their competition. And the Pelicans haven't been good, but they're better than the Magic. So I'm going to say that they play up to the Pelicans. I think it'll be a close game for about maybe 2.5 quarters, and then the Pelicans should pull away. But I wouldn't be surprised if the Magic won this. I'll say that every time. In our next game, we have the Pistons going to take on the Hornets. I'm going to take the Hornets. They've been on fire as of late. A win or loss doesn't do anything for either of these teams, but you'd rather win than lose, right? Unless you want Victor Wembanyama. But I'm going to take the Hornets here to get the win.
And in one of the possible games of the night, we have the Heat going to take on the 76ers. I'm going to say 76ers get their bounce back here. I think the Heat got blown out of the water, if I'm being quite honest. The Heat just haven't been the same. I don't know what's wrong with them. I can't really pinpoint anything. I think they need a better point guard, possibly. Maybe like a better power forward. Get that in the offseason, maybe become a little bit better. But, yeah, in our next game, and another possible game that night, I think both these games should be on TNT, I believe. On one of the big networks, so either TNT or ESPN. We have the Celtics going to take on the Knicks. Knicks and the Julius Randle have been on fire. You have the Celtics just beating the 76ers on a road trip again. I'm going to take the Celtics.
This game is always close. These guys are always close. I'm going to say it's going to be really, really close. It's going to come down to the wire, but I'm going to say that Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum just push Celtics over the finish line.
And surprisingly, those are all of our games for Monday, but there's 2 good games, so I'll take it. But, yeah, as always, like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Let me know your guys' predictions in the comments down below, and
it's been your boy King Kaif, and I'm out. Peace.